70% of jobs you know today will vanish before 2030. Not decades from now, not in some distant future. It's already happening. And if you think your paycheck is safe, think again. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to survive the collapse that no one is talking about. Pause. Let that sink in. This isn't a prediction. It's a process already underway. Every paycheck, every career, every industry you thought was stable is being rewritten. And if you don't see it yet, you're already behind. Why are governments hiding this? Why aren't your employers warning you? Why do the headlines talk about growth while millions quietly lose their livelihoods? We'll get to that in a moment. But the most shocking part is still ahead. Because this collapse isn't just about jobs. It's about control. It's about who gets to decide your worth in a world run by algorithms. Stay with me, because once you see the full picture, you'll never look at your paycheck the same way again. Here's how the collapse unfolds. First, small jobs vanish. The cashier replaced by self-checkout. The delivery driver replaced by drones. The assistant replaced by software. You don't notice it at first. It feels like convenience. It feels like progress. But then, entire industries collapse. Retail chains shrink. Factories automate. Call centers disappear. What used to employ millions now employs hundreds. The middle class shrinks. The gap widens. And finally, nations fall. Economies built on human labor crumble when that labor is no longer needed. Tax bases shrink. Social safety nets collapse. Political systems destabilize. What begins as a paycheck problem becomes a civilization problem. They told you automation would create new opportunities. But the truth is, most of those opportunities are temporary, unstable, and reserved for the few who already control the system. Think about the contrast. Before, stable jobs, predictable paychecks, long-term careers. After, gig work, unstable contracts, algorithmic bosses. Before, you worked for a company. After, you worked for a platform. Before, you had rights. After, you have ratings. This is the trap, and most people are walking straight into it. Buried in a 2025 labor report is the clue no one wants you to see. It shows that automation isn't just replacing low-skill jobs. It's creeping into high-skill professions: law, medicine, finance. Insiders already know this. They've seen the charts. They've seen the projections. And they're preparing quietly while the public stays distracted. Think about this. In one leaked corporate memo, executives admitted that their AI systems could replace 40% of their workforce within 5 years. 40%. That's not speculation. That's a plan. Another insider revealed that governments are deliberately underreporting unemployment numbers. Why? Because if the public saw the real figures, panic would spread. Social unrest would ignite. So they mask it with terms like res-killing and transitioning. But behind closed doors, they know the collapse is accelerating. Here's the kicker. The very institutions you trust, banks, universities, even healthcare systems, are already restructuring around this hidden reality. They're not preparing to save your paycheck. They're preparing to survive without you. Stop. Think about that. The system isn't failing accidentally. It's being redesigned intentionally. Your paycheck is already shrinking. Look at inflation. Look at rising costs. Even if you keep your job, your money buys less every month. That's the silent collapse. You don't need to lose your job to lose your security. But here's the hope. If you understand the system, you can position yourself to win. Because while millions are being replaced, a small group is learning how to leverage the very tools that are destroying traditional jobs. Stop. Imagine this. You're competing not against other humans, but against algorithms. Algorithms that decide who gets hired, who gets promoted, who gets paid. And if you don't know how they work, you're invisible. The collapse is accelerating. You can learn the skills that make you visible to the algorithm. Your career ladder is gone. A new ladder exists, but only for those who see it. They told you automation would free you. But the truth is, automation enslaves those who don't adapt. It creates freedom only for those who master it. Here's the rhythm of collapse. First, fear. You see jobs vanish. Then hope. You realize there's a way to pivot. Then fear again. You see industries crumble. Then hope again. You discover new leverage points. That rhythm is the heartbeat of disruption. And if you can ride it, you survive. Stop. Think about this. Every paycheck you've ever earned was based on one assumption, that your labor had value. But what happens when labor itself is obsolete? What happens when machines outperform humans in every measurable way? That's the cliff we're standing on. And yet, here's the paradox. The same collapse that destroys millions of paychecks creates new opportunities for those who understand it. Not jobs in the old sense, not careers in the traditional sense, but leverage, influence, control. You're replaceable. You can become irreplaceable if you master the right skills. Here's the truth no one is telling you. The collapse isn't random. It isn't chaotic. It's being guided by hidden algorithms already running inside corporations, banks, and governments. Algorithms that decide who gets hired, who gets fired, who gets paid. And once you're flagged as replaceable, the system doesn't just ignore you, it erases you. Think about that. A machine is already deciding your future. Not your boss, not your government, not even the market. A hidden code, written by people you'll never meet, is quietly determining whether your paycheck survives. And here's the shocking part. These algorithms don't measure your humanity. They don't care about your loyalty, your years of service, or your dedication. They measure efficiency, profit, risk. And if you fall outside their parameters, you're gone. Stop. Let that sink in. The biggest secret is that the collapse isn't about jobs disappearing. It's about control shifting, from humans to machines, from workers to systems, from individuals to algorithms. This is the final puzzle piece. Once you see it, the entire picture makes sense. The paycheck collapse isn't just economic. It's systemic, it's engineered, and it's already here. But here's how you survive. You don't fight the algorithm. You learn to work with it. You master the skills it values. You position yourself where machines can't compete. One skill above all will protect you: adaptability. The ability to pivot, to learn fast, to integrate new tools before the masses. If you master adaptability, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Think about this. The collapse destroys those who cling to the old model, but it rewards those who build systems, leverage platforms, and create value beyond labor. That's the future-proof path. Here's the practical step. Start building skills that align with the algorithm: data literacy, strategic thinking, creative synthesis. Machines can calculate, but they can't imagine. They can process, but they can't inspire. If you can combine human creativity with machine leverage, you become irreplaceable. Stop. Remember this line. If you master adaptability, you survive the AI shakeout. That's the key. That's the strategy. The next collapse is closer than you think. It won't wait until 2030. It's unfolding now, paycheck by paycheck, industry by industry. And if you miss the signs, you miss your chance to prepare. Subscribe before you miss it. Because I'm the analyst exposing hidden shifts so you can dominate the next decade. Every video is a survival strategy. Every insight is a weapon against collapse. And the next revelation is coming sooner than you expect. Don't wait. The system isn't slowing down, and neither should you.